Hey, hey guys! I was just watching YouTube on one side, and I had Twitter on the other. I was reading, how Apple is getting ready to start doing split screen. Now, there is definitely more to WWDC than what I'm going to talk about in this video, but I'm focusing on my iPhone finally being able to do picture-in-picture. But the real question is, will it be able to do picture-in-picture with YouTube? And the short answer to that is yes, but it's going to take for YouTube developers to make that happen. So right now you can do picture-in-picture on an iPad. Obviously, you can, have a video playing down there and, have your web browser, whatever you're doing. But bringing that to the iPhone is going to be something that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about. Now, we all know, I should say, because I'm talking to you like you're sitting right here in front of me. It's just me and you talking. I mean, that's how I do videos. Now, we all know that plenty of Android phones, this is my OnePlus 7 Pro. We all know that plenty of Android phones can do picture-in-picture with ease. It's not something that is new to Android users. And I'm not going to make this video and make fun of Apple for doing it later in the game. But being able to put my video down here on the side while I'm multitasking with something else, that is something that Android users have known for years. And so it's not something that's new. But I think that I'm actually kind of happy because I've seen some of the leaks and I've seen some of the things that Apple, the iPhone, let's just be honest here, the new iPhone, if it in fact does look like some of these renders, it's the iPhone that I've been asking for years. The kind of the flat sides like on the iPhone 5, and then you get the current design. I remember saying that in multiple videos. If they do that, I'm all in with an iPhone. I'm not switching to an iPhone permanently. That's a no. But I will be all in with supporting Apple and using my iPhone even more. But that doesn't mean that I'll be ready to give up this one. Who knows? I don't know. But I'm happy that Apple has decided to do picture-in-picture. It is definitely something that we've all seen before with Android phones. And you'll get a lot of people cracking jokes. Oh, they're late to the game. I think at this point, yeah, they're just now doing it, you know what I mean? But it's a positive thing, and it's going to be embraced by everyone. People can make fun of it now, but rest assured, when that new iPhone, every time an iPhone drops, some Android OEMs get a little shaky. They get a little intimidated. Even if the iPhones are not better than their phones, they still get a little intimidated because of the hype behind it, and because of they know people are going to be quick to buy it over an Android phone. So I think that when in fact my iPhone does get this software update, and we're not even going to talk about Mac, the Mac OS, they're using their own chips. This is exciting news because I saw them editing in 4K and it was playing it back in 4K and it was ridiculous. It was so good. But the functionality of an iPhone, you get some widgets and you get an app drawer. When these things happen, people are instantly going to say to themselves, so what? Android has been able to do that for years. But let's be clear. I'm not pro Apple. I'm not pro iOS. I'm more pro BlackBerry of anything. Don't judge me. But Android is an operating system that I would definitely use, and I use daily over my iPhone because of the way it works for me. Like plugging in that Type-C. This video, I can edit it right here on an Android phone and upload it to YouTube because it has Type-C. I can just plug in my Type-C adapter, boom, get the video on my phone, open up PowerDirector Pro, and start editing, and I'm done. I need Type-C on an iPhone in 2020. Now, some of you guys, I think you guys confirmed saying, Jay, they're not going to do that. Some of you guys, I think in another video, you guys told me they're not going to put Type-C on an iPhone, but still, that doesn't mean I don't want it. So when the iPhones get up to Type-C, this is going to be great. The fact that they're doing picture-in-picture, oh, that's exciting. I personally think that, it'll be a minute before we see YouTube picture-in-picture, even after these updates come about. I think it's going to be a minute before we actually see that. But this is something that, we knew it was coming. And I think a lot of people fear that when Apple does it, it's just going to be better than Android. And the reality is the apps on my iPhone do, in most cases, run smoother and more fluid and more fast than my Android phones. And another reason why Apple is getting ready to win is because they're getting ready to have their own stuff in-house. It's just going to be all Apple for hardware, software, period. No outsourcings at one point or another in the future. And that's going to take them to the next level. I mean, their computers, their phones, it already kind of blows away a lot of the Android phones when it comes to power and performance. Doesn't mean they're better devices. I'm just saying in just raw power, a lot of the MacBooks and things like that appear to be faster. The iPhones appear to be faster. The iPad appears to be faster than every Windows computer when it comes to processing things, just about. But I think Apple is onto something, and I'm happy that they actually are doing this. I'm happy that they're bringing, picture in picture. They're bringing an app drawer. You've got some different widgets now on Mac OS or whatever. So this is going to be different for Apple. They've been working on this for a year or two probably, or secretly behind the closed doors. And finally we get to see it. So I ask you this. If the iPhone 12, if this next iPhone, whatever it is, if it comes out and it's a killer hardware, which I believe that just them flattening out these sides takes this phone to another level. It takes it to another level, straight up. It goes to another level. Just changing the hardware takes this phone to another level. And I believe that if in fact they do make it a little narrower with those flat sides, a little taller, and they do that app drawer and those widgets, and you've got that picture in picture, you got functionality and features of things that Android has been using for years, a lot of people will probably really switch to an iPhone. Because let's be clear here, FaceTime and iMessenger are worlds ahead of any other platform that's trying to do it. This is to be clear. They can hype up Skype and all that stuff like that, and they can hype up Duo. Duo is actually really good, but the problem is, who's on Duo? Like, I don't know enough people on Duo. Now, recently, you might notice that a lot of people have the Messenger app being used, because even between Samsung phones, I know people I know what phone they're using, and they're on Messenger, and that's good because you can send MMSs faster, you can send video clips, and it's no Duo, but it's still really solid, and so it's a step in the right direction. However, it's not touching FaceTime or iMessenger. And if you're being honest with yourself, all you Android users out there, most of you guys have an iPad anyway, so you already know. You've tested it out. You've tested iMessage. You've tested FaceTime, so you know that it's good. You know it is. So the fact that Apple is getting ready to go in the direction that Android has been in, there are some OEMs that are really going to be in trouble because they've got this iPhone SE2, which everybody seems to rave over. But the reality is, I guess some people might be buying it. But the 11 to me is still the smarter choice of all the iPhones right now. But I got a feeling when that new iPhone drops, I think it's going to be like 3 or 4 different sizes. I don't even know. The rumor mill is there, but I think there's going to be a 5.4 inch one. There's just going to be a variety. And then they drop that new hardware, hopefully, coupled with that software in a few months. Companies are going to be in trouble. If they release this in September, like they always do, announce it or whatever, and it comes out in 2 weeks like they do, even though it's kind of the same software, you're just getting an app tray and some different functions that you're adding on, some widgets and stuff like that, it's going to be a lot of people switching to an iPhone probably. There are hardcore people out there that are hardcore, They're hardcore. They're not feeling Apple in any kind of way, and they're sticking with a real multitasking machine like the V60. So it's people out there that are for sure going to stay with Android. They have no intentions on leaving Android, and that's just how it is, and I totally am with that. But there's that group of people out there who always admired that other couple or their friends or their family that had an iPhone and they were on FaceTime or they were on iMessenger playing a game within iMessenger. They were just doing something on an iPhone, and it impressed that person enough to say, "Ooh, I want to try that." You know what I mean? So with Apple doing what it's doing now, we can have all the Android phones we want. Apple, if I'm being honest and giving them credit, and I've given Apple a hard time over the years, but if Apple comes up with a pop-up camera, you can rest assured it's probably going to be good. They pride themselves on taking a long time to produce something, even if they come years later. But their thing is they're going to say that we did it better than you. We took our time with it, and we did it right the way it should be done. And if they bring out a folding device, it's probably going to be good. They're going to charge a premium price for it or a really expensive overpriced tag for it. It's probably going to be good. Because right now, I've been trying to switch back to using a Windows computer or laptop for editing, but just all the software, I'm just not feeling a lot of the software that I have to use on. I've tried DaVinci Code. I put out a post saying, hey, you know, what should I use for Windows edit? If I'm on a Windows laptop, what should I use to edit? And pretty much everybody was saying DaVinci. It's okay. It's not, to me, it's not even as good as iMovie, to be honest, man. I like, and probably because I've been using iMovie longer, but on my Windows computer, I used Vegas Pro. So I think it's Vegas Pro or something like that. I forgot what it was. It's upstairs on the computer. The Pro version of that, I got it years ago. And it's just, I like that better than iMovie. And I'm using Final Cut right now, by the way. And Final Cut is cool. You know, Final Cut is nice. But, you know, when it comes to a Windows computer, I mean, I just don't think it's a lot of things touching as far as software goes. A lot of them aren't even as good as iMovie, to be honest. But when Apple makes this next step, I think a lot of people are going to be surprised at how much they actually like or how quick they might be to switch to an iPhone. And that's all I have to say about that. Picture in picture, you know, an app drawer, some widgets, you know what I mean? So it's going to be good. It's going to be good, right? Huh? We shall see. It's your man Jay. The new iPhones are coming. WWDC is on the roll right now. They brought it this time around. I really like what they did, what they presented, and I think it's going to be a good look from Apple going forward. I really hope that they do bring out a folding phone. I hope that they do bring out a pop-up screen device, a pop-up camera device. I hope that they do bring out 4 or 5 versions of the iPhone and give us a variety, because Android phones definitely rule when it comes to variety. You can pick whatever you want. For $20, you can go get a phone, use it, trash it, throw it away, go get another one. Apple will probably never be at that point, but just bringing us some variety will be great. It's your man Jay. What do you think about Apple's move right now? Do you think they're heading the right direction, or do you think it's too late? You think no one's going to switch and leave their Android phone for an iPhone? This discussion could go on for days, months, years, like it's always been doing already. But it's time that we put a nail in this thing. Did Apple do the right thing by giving it an app drawer, widgets, picture in picture, and everything else that you saw today? Huh? See you in the next video. Take care.